Hi everyone, Josh here from Racing to Profit. On Saturday the 13th of June, I've got three stabs today at on Saturday's cards. One at Chester, Rasnet each way at 11 to 2, which I'll touch on in a moment, and one of these fiendishly difficult and challenging York 22 runner handicaps. I've had a go on Yes I'm Marley and Cat's Bob to see if he can repeat last year's success. He's around 19 to 20s on Betfair. Yes, I'm Marley 9.4, 9.6 or so. I've just backed both kind of split stakes, I suppose, on the nose. But of course, you have bookie options and 5 places. We will see. They're both high, and I'll touch on that in a minute. Of course, I could be on completely the wrong side of the track. But let's just go to Chester. I thought 5.5s was decent enough for this horse here. I'll start with pace, which is interesting. I think he might benefit from a strong pace, but on this sort of ground, you can kind of come from everywhere. But he's in stall, well, effectively stall 5 now, with a non-runner. Lexington Jet should provide some pace, possibly Varians. Eve Johnson Hortons might go forward. Those wide have a decision, and often you can find a horse drawn wider around Chester. The jockeys decide to send them forward because otherwise they end up too far back. In any case, hopefully he can get out. If he could sit in third or fourth, clear 1 or 2 on his inside, maybe 1 off the rail, would be ideal. Yesterday you needed to challenge down the middle to the stand side, really. The inside looked much slower. It should be drying out today, but being kind of 1 or 2 wider and having the freedom to kind of switch out down the middle and challenge wide should be a positive here. But it looks like they should go a solid gallop. In terms of the horse, he made, well, he's only a 4-year-old. He made his turf debut around here last time out, and that was a decent effort for me. He clearly knows how to win. He's been very consistent, as you can see. He's only been out the places once, and that was on his first start, generally first and seconds and thirds. And what I think is a solid race. There's been a winner come out of it from behind. None of those around him have run as yet, or haven't won as yet, but I think that was kind of solid enough form for the class. I watched it back. He was a slight step slow away, which he wouldn't want to do here, but that put him on the back foot a bit. I'm not sure they went overly fast. Sean Levy had to sit and suffer a little bit, and then kind of got stuck in, but he was hardly throwing the kitchen sink at him, to my eyes. Interesting they come back here. I hope it's drying out. It did get a bit tacky and gluey yesterday, which our own horse Corey hated in the last and didn't really pick up or run any sort of race, but it should continue to keep drying out, and hopefully rides like proper good to soft with enough good in it, but we shall see. I suppose a bit of cut is a question. If he does flounder or doesn't pick up, then I put it down to the ground, but there was a bit of ease when he ran here the last day. It was a slightly better race on kind of the average ORs in the race, which is always worth looking at. Useful, especially if horses on the face of it are running in the same class. The average OR here today, 84.4, so certainly no worse a contest on that front than the last race, and that's something else you can always look at in your race analysis. We've got RPRs here, as always. I've said before, I like when the RPRs are kind of above the official rating. Higher the better, but he is consistent in what he produces, which is good. I like the first time cheek pieces angle. That might help him at the start, may help him hold a position more easily and more prominently through the race. I don't think there's clearly not an attitude problem, but it might just give him that extra bit of edge late on. Yard form's always important. You're judging whether yards are very hot, which you could certainly say Roger Varian is kind of in a hot phase more generally, and he's been banging in the winners and looking against the kind of yards historical averages. Win and place percentages for the last year can help in that endeavour to see just how good a form they're in more recently. But in terms of John Butler's, I've got no concerns there. The percentage of rivals beaten's kind of above the average, so plenty of finishing in the first half of their races. And he's had recent winners, and the horse was in form when last seen. So for me, no issues or concerns on that front. This Kempton form is actually pretty good. The winner, which he was second in and just done kind of late near the line, there kind of bolted up on his next start also. So he does have some substance, and also still being open to improvement on turf. I won't kind of go through all the others in depth. I'll just flick on the Instant Expert. One of the ways in for me was the fact that he has proven stamina. That's the place stats. If I look at handicaps here, as you can see, now that's winning form, and you can see there's nothing in turf flat, well, nothing in handicaps full stop, nothing in turf handicaps, which is actually 1 at class 3 level. So in that regard, it's not as good, and it's always worth expanding to kind of class 1 to 3, and there are actually a couple of winners at higher classes. Lexington Jet on his last start, but over 7 furlongs, stepping up to 10 and a half here, which is a question for him. Savvy Victory, interesting to the point which he has a class 2 win as a 3-year-old, but that was back in August 2022. But if I just go back to class 3, you can see that in terms of standout winning form, the other thing was that the stamina, which made him a bet for me. So this is turf flat handicaps, 10 to 11 furlongs. Duke de Henry's the only other one with, you could argue, with proven stamina in this, but that was way back, that win back in September 24. All of the others have questions. Now, some of them are trying the trip for the first time. They could well improve for it, but having a horse with proven stamina on side is no bad thing. And all he did was stay on around here last time. He's obviously got course form, which is a big plus, but that kind of proven stamina was important for me. I think Variance is interesting, but first start in 248 days and kind of interesting jockey booking, but 0 from 9. 1 places for the yard at the odds on first start and first run around here. That kind of put me off. If he proves to have stacks in hand and has come on bundles for another winter off, so be it. Up in class, I thought Rasnat looked the solid one here. Lexington Jet takes a big step up in trip. He's obviously gone up £3 as well. That's a question for him. Maybe they'll be a bit more patient, I'm not sure. Impartiality is interesting. He could improve for the step up in trip, but I think needs to. Has been banging on the door a bit. His mark is okay and workable. The yard's in form. I can see why he is fancied, but he can dwell, and he's always slowly away, and he's drawn in stall 1, which kind of put me off or wanted me to take him on as well, because there's a chance he gets behind horses and has a wall of horses in front of him. And it also means he may have to challenge up the inside of the track, which, if yesterday was anything to go by, was not the place to be. So I suppose that was my reason from kind of track position, how he starts and his draw. Stall 1's usually a positive around here, but it's not if you're slowly away. It can be the worst place to be, because you're then on the rail but got the whole field or a fair few horses in front, and you can get trapped for room. The jockeys have to sit and suffer as the race develops away from them. And yeah, there are various questions for everything else to my eyes. So yeah, I thought Rasnat, if he runs as he did here last time, he won't be out the places, in my opinion, with the cheek pieces, second run on turf, possibly a stronger pace, and if he starts a bit better, there are all reasons for improvement. There's a jockey change as well. George Wood is riding very well at the moment. He rides Chester very well, in fairness to him, and is 1 from 3 for John Butler as well on rides in the last couple of years. So all in all, and he's also got a stonking GG speed rating, which is another kind of positive if you look at such things. All in all, I thought he ticked a lot of boxes at what I thought was a value price. You could go hardy on the nose, I suppose, at 11 to 2, but with 3 places, I've gone each way, and will be disappointed if he's not thereabouts. If he doesn't pick up, then the ground is clearly still on the softer side, and he doesn't handle it, but that's a bit of an unknown. I'm hoping it dries out a bit. So that's Rasnet at Chester. We rattle on to York. Clearly this is a challenging handicap, not races to go mad in, but they are a puzzle, and you obviously can get value odds in such big fields. It seems a very, very open race. Pace is interesting. If I just cruise down here, Cat's Bob made all in this last year and did it fairly comfortably. He's a bit below that mark. William Powell gets on with him. I'm hoping they blast him out. He has a similar prep actually. Ran at Doncaster before last year's race and ran so. He ran okay this time, but hopefully he may have been tuned up fully for this and may come on again for that, as Ruth Cars can keep improving through a season as they get fitter run to run. I don't think they kind of drill them at home too hard necessarily, but as you can see, there's nothing which certainly on recent starts has really blasted out. Kodiak Thriller might try and be up there and bring the middle to low numbers along, but with any luck, Cat's Bob blasts out and bags this near side rail, which may help, and he will kind of he's going to lead, and I didn't think impossible that he could cling on and stay there, but 19-20 to 1 or so on the machine, I thought he was worth a dabble to see if he could get out and make all. So he's very much a kind of pace, angle and reasoning, and I can make a case on paper, but as you can see, there are no other kind of horses who regularly blast out and really push the pace, so that could be a benefit to him because he might get an easy enough time of it through the first part of the race, which will help later on. If I just go back to Instant Expert, I'll touch on the other one in a minute. Now what I've done here, you can look at just the last 2 years, which is sometimes beneficial, especially flat horses and flat races. It doesn't always pay to go too far back, although some resurrect as their marks drop, of course. What I found interesting when looking through this is a class 4, but I've actually just put it class 1 to 3. And you can probably see why Yes I'm Marley stands out there on the GG's Instant Expert. The ground's interesting. They're calling it good to firm in places. You can change the going here, so yeah, good to firm, good, which he's fine with. He's won at the track back over and the course and distance back in August 24, has changed yards, and he ran a good race here last time, which I'll touch on. So the course is fine, and as you can see, there are not loads of course winners in this. Plenty of place, and there are a few other winners, as you can see, but he has won at a higher class, which is interesting for me. There are a lot down here who haven't won above class 4, and there's other ones. Duran, for example, has a trip question. Some of these have track questions, others have distance and going. A few look a bit high and possibly above last winning marks, and so on. So yeah, on this kind of winning form in the last 2 years, in terms of the horse's profile against going, a higher class, course distance and field size, you can see why he ticks a lot of boxes, and I thought 8 to 1 plus was worth a go. Now if I change it back to class 4, which is obviously today, does bring more horses into it, as we know. And you can see Cat's Bob down here, which I thought was interesting enough. He's got a course win that was in this race last year. He did make all. I think if the jockey wished to do so, he could do that again. That was off 80. Jockey was claiming 3 that day. He no longer claims 3, so effectively off the same mark. He did win that fairly comfortably come the line to my eyes. A Racing Post rating of 88 that day. Clearly, yeah, conditions are no problem. Ground is no problem. Plenty of these have questions, as you can see with all the red on good to firm, good. And yeah, I'll touch on Yes I'm Marley a bit more in a second. The other one I did look at was Winged Messenger, who is interesting. It was the last one I crossed off the list. And I did so because of ground, really. His best form has seemingly been on good or softer. He ran okay at Redcar on his first run back. Maybe this has been a plan. The cheek pieces are back on, which were not at Redcar. If you did wish to have 3 horses in the race and a lesser stake, maybe he is the other one. But I was just concerned a bit if this does dry out and is properly and dries out to more to kind of good to firm, because there's no doubt that his best form has been with cut in the ground. His win here was on soft. Doncaster was just good. Good to firm, he can wobble a bit under pressure and doesn't maybe necessarily put down fully as he does on the softer surface. So that was my reason for crossing him off third on the list. We'll see. It might not be as quick as I'm anticipating, and he's got course form as well. Last year in July off 71, he's a bit higher in the weights, which is possibly a question for him also. But yeah, he was last off the list. But back to Yes I'm Marley. Ran in a Thirst Class 2. That's produced a winner. That was 13 days ago. He's back down 2 classes here. That was still a solid effort to my eyes, as was his run only 7 days on from his Newbury effort. Here, he beat the rest comfortably enough. Lord Roxby, who reopposes here, is £6 higher. Won that day. Yes I'm Marley could have possibly sat a bit closer to the pace. I'm hoping Rosser might put him further forward. All he did was respond to pressure and try. He's got a bit of a weight swing with Lord Roxby, who of course is might well run the same race again. Again, bit quicker ground, which might be a question. He's up £6, which I thought might well hold him, but certainly leaves him open to attack. And there's also not as much pace, I didn't think, kind of middle to lower, and there's not as much possibly as there was the last day. And one of the Yes I'm Marley positives is that I'm hoping, drawn in 21, not too far off Cat's Bob in 22, that Cat's Bob will give him a good lead into the race. He'll be able to kind of stalk him, track him, and give him a target to run at. Hopefully Lord Cat's Bob goes deep into it and, given the odds, clings on. But if it starts to fade, I'm hoping Yes I'm Marley is the one that comes from the clouds. Well, not from the clouds. I'm hoping he sits a bit closer, as I said. Stays on very well. And yeah, he's only 4. He's in decent form. He has course form. He came clear with Lord Roxby, and all he was doing was staying on at the line. Lord Roxby got the run on him that day. He beat the rest of the field comfortably enough, and I think this mark is workable. Ross Orion gets a go now. He's been in decent form recently. He rides York well enough. He's won a couple of times for David O'Meara as well. So we shouldn't have any excuses there. As I said, hopefully he can get him up and thereabouts. But yeah, that was my reasoning for those two. And I'm hoping that high might be the place to be. If there is a track bias and actually this near side ride's a bit slower than the middle to far, then it might be game over for both. And indeed Winged Messenger, who's also high. So I am putting all my eggs in that high draw basket. It might not work out. It is often best in these big handicaps if you're having a couple of plays to pick one lower as well, but I haven't on this occasion. And yeah, with any luck, those two can run a big race, and it's clear from kind of 2-3 furlongs out that the near side is ahead. That would be ideal. There's always a chance they drift over to the middle, of course. Yeah, in any case, for those reasons, they are the two horses for me, and hopefully they give me plenty to cheer, and I'm not watching through my fingers as Winged Messenger comes over the top of both of them. But yeah, I didn't really like much else in the race, but it's obviously very, very competitive. No doubt I've possibly missed something, but yeah, those two horses were for me. Good luck if playing. Hopefully Rasnet at Chester can get us off to a good start, and we're playing with bookies money heading into this race. But yeah, thanks for watching, and good luck with any bets and if following me in. Cheers.